Hey everyone, it's Tim. I just wanted to create a quick video or two going through some of the things that we went through in class on Tuesday, particularly getting the totals for stress and self-efficacy, and then going through and doing correlations and slope and intercept. So just to begin, the first thing we want to do here is total up our stress scores and total up our self-efficacy scores. So for here, I'm going to go down to the right side of our data, and I'm going to put total stress and total self-efficacy. And remember in class, to get a total, we do equals sum and then parentheses, and then we would want to put in the data points that we'd want. So for stress, it starts at A2 and then goes all the way to T2. If we go back to our variable and we close our parentheses and we get our total. So if you look up here, it tells you what I did, equals sum A2 to T2, and then I'll just drag that down because it calculates all the totals for me. It follows the same pattern. So if I click on this one, it says AG31. And if I go up the top, it calculated A31 to T31, which is perfect because I'm in row 31 and I wanted the variables from A to T. Now to calculate total self-efficacy, I would do essentially the same thing. I would equal sum, and then I would find my data points. So I see that self-efficacy starts at U and goes all the way to AD. So I have U2 to AD2. I close my parentheses and I get my total. And then I will just drag down from the lower right-hand corner and it does everything for me. So for this one, AI28, if I go up here, it says U28 to AD28. So perfect. It used the row that I wanted between the variables U and AD that I wanted. So great, I have my total stress score and my total self-efficacy score, and I have my GPA that I already have calculated, which is nice. So now let's do some correlations. So the first correlation that we're going to do is GPA and stress. And then we'll do GPA and self-efficacy. And then we'll do self and stress. So to calculate our correlation for GPA and stress, all we need is to type in the command, so equals correlation. So as you start typing in Excel, it'll start giving you options. So if you're not exactly sure of the correct spelling, just keep going and usually you'll be able to find it. But correlation is equals coral and then parentheses. And then it says here array1, which is the first variable entry, so that's GPA. So we would take AE2 to AE31, and then comma, to A, and then we want array2. So what's our second variable? Our second variable here is stress, so we would calculate that. We'd get those variables, AG2 to AG31. If I would have typed in AG2 colon AG31, it would have done the same exact thing. And the nice thing about Excel is it highlights the squares that you're looking into. So again, let's go back here. If I do AG2, you'll notice that it highlighted the box that I was interested in. And then if I put colon AG31, it highlights everything. I close my parentheses and I get my correlation of negative 0.43. So as GPA rises, stress decreases, or because we can't look at causation here, as stress increases, GPA decreases. Now let's do this for GPA and self. So we do equals coral, and then array1, which again is GPA since that's our first variable. So we get our data here, comma, space, array2. Self-efficacy is our information here. So we do AI2 to AI31, and then we close that parenthesis. So make sure we close the parentheses, hit enter, and we get a correlation of 0.54. And again, if I click on my cell and I go back up here, I can see exactly what I typed. So maybe if I get information I didn't expect to see, or if you open up the Excel file that I posted in Canvas, you should be able to click on these boxes and see how I did things. The final correlation that I'll get here is stress and self-efficacy. So equals coral again, that's our command, parentheses, array 1, which is self. So I'm going to go up here and get my self-efficacy data. And then I hit comma, so I have AI2 to AI31, and now I want AG2 to AG31 because that is my stress data. So as you can see, it highlighted my stress data right here. Close the parentheses, and I get a negative correlation of 0.3. So I got all my correlations for GPA and stress, GPA and self and stress. So it seems like the GPA, it seems like the relationship between GPA and stress is negative in the aspect of as GPA rises, stress goes down, which seems to make sense. And then GPA and self-efficacy. So as self-efficacy rises, so does GPA, which seems to make sense. Or on the flip side, as GPA rises, your self-efficacy increases, which seems to make sense. And then self-efficacy and stress have a negative relationship, which also seems like it makes sense. So as your stress goes up, so as your self-efficacy goes up, your stress goes down, or as your stress goes up, your self-efficacy goes down. So that makes sense. So this video, I highlighted how to calculate your row totals for stress and self-efficacy, which you'll also have to do in your assignment. And I also helped you calculate and interpret your different correlations.